Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going through how we created this build for this week's DreamSnaps, which is Minnie Mouse's Festival of Hearts. This is a decor challenge, so the first thing I did was head over to Scrooge's shop and filter by the mandatory and suggested tags to find those most valuable items that I could place down that fit every single tag. And so I checked Scrooge to see if there were any that I didn't have in my inventory and made sure to purchase those first. And then the remaining of my 25 limit that I had, I went through and started taking off suggested tags and kind of narrowing it down to what items I don't have that I could use. I made a focus on first the tags that or the items that had all the tags, and then secondly making sure to get the ones that I thought would be in the foreground of my photo. And then the last kind of criteria I was looking for is just anything I could use for junkyarding behind my build to get as many tags as possible. So with this submission, we have, let's take a look here. 121 out of 4 cute tags and 135 out of 5 delicate tags. So we definitely accomplished max tags as possible in this within reason. I think if I did more, it would just be too much. Of course, you don't see all those out in the front. We do have this barrier here in the back that has additional items, which you'll see in the build to accomplish that. But let's go ahead and take a look at how we created this. So first and foremost, I knew that I wanted to utilize this blank space that I recently demoed down in my Forest of Valor, and I knew I wanted to use Minnie Mouse's house along with the cherry trees and the cherry blossom planters that I had to really lean into the colors of her house. Another key part that I wanted to utilize was the celebration balloon arch that also had those similar colors, along with the candies from Vanellope's Quest. So I included those in here as well. And then another key feature I wanted to include was the new trellises that had the purple flowers. So I wanted to kind of lean into that. So I pulled Minnie's house out a little bit to allow myself space to junkyard in the back of the other items that fit the tags that don't fit the aesthetic of the picture that I was going for. But I quickly realized that I don't have enough space to accomplish that, and there's a lot more items that I wanted to junkyard behind that than I would be able to with the current placement. So I end up moving the house, and then I utilize these walls partitions, the vine walls I think it is, and I put 2 rows of them on the left and the right hand side to ensure that you can't peek through and see other items behind it, and then move everything kind of forward and continue to junkyard behind it. I also knew that I wanted to kind of lean into the festival or kind of date night kind of thing where Minnie's hosting a party. So to accomplish that, you kind of have to think ahead and look at the times in which the players that you want to include in the photo are sleeping, if they're in the shop, or etc. So the timing of this, I had Minnie Mouse in the restaurant, so I had to grab her first. And if you fast travel or go into a building, the characters reset, so you can't keep them imprisoned with fences if you do those actions. So she was the one I grabbed first. Luckily, Mickey was roaming about, Ariel and Eric were also roaming about. But with this, I had two different days of submissions on this. So the first day that I'm building all of this and take my original photo. I love it. Mickey was in an adorable pose next to Minnie Mouse. However, after looking at it for so long, I felt like there was too much blank space in the foreground and that I needed to zoom in the photo basically by standing further back into the build so that there was less blank space. And when I went to do the final submission, Ariel was asleep. I was able to get Vanessa as his date instead. And then I had Wally as my date, but he didn't actually appear visibly in the photo, unfortunately. And even with my final submission, I'm not happy with it necessarily, but I'm over the amount of hours I've spent waiting for these characters to stand in the perfect spot. So you'll see the final at the end there. But all I've been doing this whole time is just junkyarding. And now that I have kind of accomplished all of the placement that I wanted to behind those uh, partitions, I start to work on the foreground and the actual photo that you're gonna be seeing and maybe voting on. So on the left hand side, I wanted to have kind of a loungy area with the picnic table, or not picnic table, picnic blanket, the pink one. And then I do eventually pull in the tangled pink purple blanket as well. And we have an ice cream stand over there and a music player. So that's kind of the left hand side since we don't have a lot of space on that side. In the middle, I am going to have kind of a sign in area where they can sign in that they came or leave a note or like a note for their significant other or secret admirer, whatever the case is. So we have the balloon arch. We'll eventually have some lanterns there, a table with Minnie's picture because we have a million of them, and we're gonna have a fountain in front of it, which will build out the placement for all of that in a moment. The pink purple hydrangeas are also part of that area, and I pull it in to the right as well. And then the main part of the picture over on the right is going to be the dinner portion. So I wanted to include the romantic scenic seating area that we got from Beauty and the Beast, and then also have some additional tables for the couples to have their dinner at. So I fuss with the placement of where I want the tables, where I want the chairs, but essentially we have those two tables there. It has the lit tulips, I guess, from the spring event that we had last year. So I have those on the table and one on the left hand side as well, eventually, to kind of pull everything together. We put the, I believe it's Encanto rug, the little pink ones underneath the tables. You can't see it from the photo, but I think it's a nice little touch. The white piano and the guitar. And then on the very right hand side, we have a little seating area where you could have some tea. So that's kind of the thought process of this build. I had the um, planters on the edges, and to really like guide where the photo is or like where the scene starts essentially. And then here I am just creating the area for the fountain. I end up going with a little of a bit of a walkway to her house, and then the centerpiece there for the water fountain. I have bushes, the Forgotten Lands, the plaza, and the Peaceful Meadow bushes alternated around the fountain. And I have fountain tiles in my first photo that I submitted underneath them. Um, and then some butterfly lilies, I guess they are, the ferns, and then some of the flora from the DLC. With the first photo, I felt like the fountain tiles were taking away from the photo. It made it grainier, I think. So for my final submission, I do remove the fountain tiles, although I think they're a nice touch just if this is a build in the valley versus a picture. It came out definitely more clear when I took those out. So this is the first submission that I ended up doing. As you can see here, there's a lot of open space in the front, but this animation with Mickey was just perfect. I was gonna just submit it and send it as is, but after kind of sitting with it, I truly felt like there was just too much open space in the front. Although I added the beach grass in to kind of break it up, it just felt like I was too far away from the actual like meat and potatoes, I guess you'd say, of the picture. So I do end up going back and changing that, but this was what we originally had. And it still is one of my favorite pictures. I just think that it would be a great picture personally to like post on Instagram or keep for myself, but I don't think it's DreamSnap worthy. So we do end up changing it, and we end up getting this photo instead. Like I said, we didn't have Ariel, but we ended up getting Vanessa. And she's over here sitting down. We have Eric over here by the piano. It's definitely, you could see more of the picture or the build. And we have Minnie and Mickey looking like they're almost holding hands, which I think is cute. And Wally's around here somewhere. I don't know where he is. Um, After taking this photo too, I'm like, man, she could have been facing a little bit differently. I should have changed the alternation so these didn't just blend in with the colors, which I did do. But after waiting and waiting and waiting, I've never had him come back over here after a couple more hours. And like I said, I'm just done with it. So this is what we're going with. Those additional things are just nitpicky things in my head, and no one else is gonna look at this picture and be like, well, if you had this or that. I mean, that's not something that they're gonna see. They're gonna go off of their gut instinct. And I think that for DreamSnaps, having this more of like a zoomed in look is great because a lot of people don't take the time to go full screen and look at your picture and all the little details. They do quick voting, a lot of them. So seeing something smaller than this and having that recognizable, like, oh, it's pink and cutesy, and oh, you can see really easily that it has Minnie and Mickey, like, I think that this is just gonna pop out better than the other one would have. So this is what we're sticking with. We'll see. I feel like after every dip in our DreamSnap results, I kind of start second guessing myself, but I love it. We're gonna ship it as is and see what happens. And that'll do it for this week's DreamSnap. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of a look behind how this build was created and seeing a glimpse behind my Monica closet basically back here of adding all the junk behind a partition. So that's always fun. I hope you enjoyed this week. There's a lot of cute builds that I've been seeing on social media. I can't wait to vote on this week and see what you guys came up with. So thank you again for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your night or day wherever you are. Bye.